Welcome to the English Matura with JB podcast. Now, have you ever been told something like this? You're just being too sensitive. It's one of those phrases that can just completely shut you down, right? And a lot of times, it's only the beginning.
Or how about this one? That never happened. You're imagining things. This is a classic line designed to make you start questioning your own memory, to make you feel like you're the one who's got it all wrong.
And then, of course, there's the big one. It's all in your head. Look, if these phrases sound even a little bit familiar, you might be dealing with a very specific and pretty nasty kind of psychological bullying. Today, we're talking all about gaslighting. It's a quiet but incredibly powerful form of emotional abuse. You can think of it as a kind of psychological warfare that's designed to make you doubt your own mind.
The very first step to protecting yourself is to really understand what you're dealing with. So let's get right into it. What exactly is gaslighted?
At its heart, gaslighting is a mind game. It's when someone, over time, deliberately tries to make you doubt everything. Your own thoughts, your view of the world, even things you know you remember. And the whole point for them? It's all about gaining power and control by making you rely on their version of the truth instead of your own.
You know, the name itself is pretty interesting. It actually comes from a black and white movie from 1944 called Gaslight. In the story, a husband wants to make his wife think she's going crazy, so he secretly dims the gas lights in their house, and whenever she points it out, he tells her she's just imagining it. It's the perfect, creepy example of how this works.
So how does this actually play out in real life? Well, people who do this kind of have a playbook of tactics they use to confuse and control you. Understanding this playbook is so important because it helps you see what's really going on.
So here's a crucial point. All gaslighting is a form of manipulation, that's for sure. But not all manipulation is gaslighting. See, a manipulator might just try to get you to do something. But a gaslighter, their goal is way bigger and way more damaging. They want to completely take over and rewrite your entire sense of reality.
And what's really insidious is how these different tactics all work together. For instance, they might use trivializing by saying you're way too sensitive when you tell them they've hurt your feelings. Or they'll use countering to mess with your memory, saying things like, you never remember anything correctly. They'll change the subject or just flat out deny something ever happened, even when you have proof.
And this is a slow burn. It doesn't happen all at once. It usually happens in stages. In stage 1, you're in disbelief. You find yourself arguing all the time, just trying to prove you're right. Then comes stage 2, defense. You start desperately trying to win their approval just to feel okay. And if it keeps going, you hit stage 3, depression, where you're just exhausted and you actually start to believe their story over your own.
You know, because gaslighting is so confusing, the first warning sign often isn't about what the other person is doing. It's about how you feel on the inside. It's all about learning to trust that little alarm bell going off in your head.
So I want you to just take a second and ask yourself, in some of your relationships, whether it's with friends or family or a partner, how do you really feel? If you are constantly second-guessing yourself, if you find yourself wondering, am I too sensitive, over and over again, or if you're always the one apologizing, these are huge red flags. Feeling confused all the time, or like you just can't make a simple decision anymore. These are all totally valid signs that something is really, really wrong. And I really need you to hear this because it's so important. If you have gaps in your memory, if you can't remember the details of a fight, that is not your fault. It is a completely normal symptom of the extreme stress that gaslighting causes. It is a sign of the abuse, not a sign that you're crazy.
So, what can you do if you recognize these signs in your own life? Well, the good news is you can absolutely fight back. This is about taking back control and refusing to let anyone else tell you what your reality is. Okay, first thing, when you feel that confusion and anxiety creeping in, just take some space. You have every right to walk away from the conversation. Second, collect evidence, but for yourself. Write down what happened in a journal, save text messages. This isn't about proving it to them, it's about proving it to you. And finally, if you feel safe enough, you can speak up and just name the behavior.
It can be so helpful to have a few phrases ready to go. You don't need to start a huge argument. Simple, firm statements like, we remember things differently, or I'm not going to discuss this right now, can completely shut down the manipulation and protect your own mind.
And this right here, this is probably the most powerful move you can make. A gaslighter thrives on arguing because that's their chance to twist everything around. The moment you refuse to argue about what you know happened, you take all of their power away.
it's game over.
Because at the end of the day, you have to remember this. You know what you saw, you know what you heard, and you absolutely know what you felt. Your reality is not, and never should be, up for debate.